Welcome everyone. Trying to turn that down low so we can get this going. It's good, everyone. This kind of does sound like some Matrix music, doesn't it? Alright, well, let's talk about Snap. I think everyone's freaking out over Snap. So Snap had a 750 up to a 1 billion convertible note that they offered today that's becomes converted, I think, in like 5 years, 6 years, something like that. It's a 1.5% dilution, so it's down 1.5% after hours. Oh, thank you, Cash. Cash is like, made some cash today. But, yeah, 2027. So it's good for Snap in the long term, not good for Snap the next day. So what happens is, you know, Snap gets a lot of money to keep operating. There's no possibility of them going out of business. Unfortunately, it breaks the uptrend here. So what I have here, the green line, is basically what it's at after hours, and I expect it to hold that level. So this is our support zone right now that we're in, these two green lines. I can actually draw a box, make it look a little sexier. This is your support zone that we're in. You know, we basically drop down like this. I would expect it to at least fill the gap tomorrow, and then when it fills that gap, we should reduce our position, because it's most likely going to come right back down, and then eventually, you know, it'll fill. It's going to make this cup right here eventually, but it'll take some time. Yeah, it might take to the end of April. There we go. So that'll be my guess. So we might be shit out of luck this week. Maybe we'll get lucky. I mean, we have till the 30th, which is technically right here. Should put us right around the 63 range. The big thing what we're going to worry about is Twitter and Facebook earnings, because Snap will go with the earnings. So as long as we hold this zone right here, we should be okay. And, you know, you might be able to see it do this later this week. Tomorrow is probably not going to be a great day, so we should reduce our position if we get lucky. If it can fill the gap and keep going and return, you know, that's a possibility, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. No, I probably would not get a leap on Snap. I think there's better stuff out there, but if you like the stock, who knows? Bob's from Bob's Burger. So PayPal looks really good. I really like PayPal. It's kind of got this inverse Wu-Tang head and shoulders thing going. So you got a double bottom, a left shoulder, right shoulder. PayPal should at least retest this shoulder here to 278 this week. And we do have a couple of gaps up here. There's one. Here's one. There's one right there too. So if we can push past 278, I highly doubt we'll see 300 before earnings, but I think 278 this week is a good target for us to hit. Maybe, you know, 276 here. So we'll say this is going to be our target zone this week. We don't want that to be negative, so we'll turn that positive with the green here. We'll change the background to like a blue. So PayPal ended really good at today. You could see this rounding action with the double bottom. This double bottom right here is a excellent sign, and you could have gotten an early entry around 262, but we went in right around 268-ish, 269. We caught that $3 move today at the end of the day, so looking really good. You got your false amigos. You got these huge green stacks with the red candles not being able to overdraw those, so alright, so that's PayPal and Snap. It's actually I'm going to show you how to scan for unusual options at the end of the day. That's sometimes how I find my plays, and I actually made a list here called my blue list that all these have unusual options, so I pre-made the list. But if we go to barchart.com, they have their option screener. You can just literally go options and then option screen. I set a few filters here just to narrow it down, but then I like to filter by volume here so you can see what was the biggest volume being bought today. So it was NEO, CCIV, American Airlines, Skills, Verizon, AMC. I'm pretty sure MViz is in here too, somewhere. So let's check these top 5 out here. NEO, CCIV, AAL. NEO. So NEO has their earnings this week. Obviously, they're going to have unusual options because of that. So where do we think we're going by earnings? I mean, I think you got a lot of resistance around 46 here. I could see it run to 46 before earnings. And Cash is just having fun with the emojis here. Yeah, so this could be a wave 1 of a breakout. I mean, you can see it broke the downtrend, retested it right here. So if we zoom in, so here's the zoom, and you can see it broke. The volume on the candle that broke it is pretty good, so it spiked above the downtrend volume, and then the sell-off volume was very low, and then we got increased volume confirming that it's a full breakout. So this was a very healthy breakout. Looks really good. This could be forming a wave 4 possibly right here on the breakout. So you got a 1. So you got a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this might chop to open the day, and then you might get a wave 5 into earnings up to 46. So I would look something like this. And you can see the ABC here for the correction and then the next clean breakout. So that's a full bullish scenario. I don't see it getting above that. It does have a gap here from 47 up to 49.50. So that in theory could be, if it has really good earnings, it could just gap above that and then open up right here. or it could have bad earnings and come all the way back down in the 30s. We'll see. This will be an important earnings for them, so. Yeah, I don't expect Neo to have great earnings, but who knows? It just depends on their guidance. So, we had, let's check out CCIV. So I believe CCIV had some news today with the Apple car, possible merger with Apple, or collaboration. Also, it had a downtrend break, retest, and breakout. So we'll I mean, it looks good. It's a nice flag forming. You can see, you know, it's got basically this flag forming right here. So here's your flag pole right here. And then here's your flag right here. So, yeah, we'll cover F-cell in a bit. So, if we're looking for a wave 2 here, we could see a wave 3 next. We'll see how this goes tomorrow. It did close near the high of the day, and it does have a scout wick up to 24. So, you could do your extension on this from the breakout up to the top here. And that would put your next wave target in the 26 area. So, let's see how that one goes. So growing, I actually had charted out here. This is supposed to be down here. There we go. So growing needs to get over 48 to get me excited. Once it gets over 48, it gets out of this chop zone down here, and then it enters into this zone, and then it can go to 55. And so over 48, and I would be excited about growing. F-cell broke out of our chop zone down here. Now it's in our next chop zone. So it broke the breakout level, it retested it, and it's just forming a base here. It needs to now get over 1076, so it needs to get over this resistance line, and over that, then we can really see it fly to about 11.5, maybe up to $12. Well, thanks, Dan. That's a nice one right there. Tiger, I've been hearing some things about. Tiger looks a lot like some of these other stocks. So, had a huge run, had a correction, basically getting that head and shoulders base. So, you know, you see the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. Now you got this resistance line around 22. Got that scout wick up to 2250. So let's use that scout wick as resistance. And then over 2250 it can start to move again. The financials are booming. I mean, every quarter they've gone up. Net income has gone up every quarter. Profit margins are increasing. I like Tiger. This could be a leap candidate right here, honestly, if you guys are looking for something. So, over 2250, you could see a nice run up to 25-ish, 2475. And then after that, you know, it's kind of forming. I've seen these charts a lot. So you get, Space had one of these. So you see these huge runs, and then these consolidations, and then eventually you'll see a cup form. So, ideally what you're looking for here So our long-term target is probably going to be around 36 if it continues this. But you'll probably see some chop, and you should see ideally 5 waves up. So you got 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you're going to see 5 waves back up. So maybe you'll see, you know, something like that as it forms that cup. So yeah, this could be a decent one for a leap, absolutely. Let's look into the financials real quick here. Balance sheet, they do have a lot of debt. Book value is good. Oh, they upped this. They increased. So it's hard to tell their cash flow because I don't think China stocks have to submit that. PE ratio is a little high. They are profitable. But if they continue to increase, you know, I've seen a lot of high PE ratios still go nuts. So it'll be interesting to see. I think their next earnings report, as long as they keep increasing everything, this could be a wonderful, wonderful long. Yes, Dan, we can do that. I'll add it to the list. I'll do it tomorrow because yeah, I might go to bed right after this. So 1,000%er. Well, that's kind of what we're hoping to do tonight with the scanning. So American Airlines had their earnings back here. It looks like they did okay. Didn't really affect much. Leaps are pricey. Leaps are pricey usually on any stock. That's the whole point of a leap. You pay for the reward. Alright, so this is actually a really nice setup. You got a double Wu-Tang bottom, and you got a bull flag here, or a rising wedge. So pay real close attention to American Airlines tomorrow. Like really close attention. So this is a island reversal right here. So you have a gap on the left and a gap on the right. So this is an island reversal, and now you got this rising wedge here. So a confirmed candle over 22. AAL is also heavily shorted, so if this thing starts going, it can pop. It's one of the only airlines that hasn't really caught up to its brothers and sisters either. So you know, you see the downtrend break. I think it gapped over the downtrend. Yep. So it just gapped over the downtrend, tested it, and we're good to go. So it does have a small gap right here up to 23.50. So this right here, if we get going, would be my price target, 23.40. This breaks north, it could see that this week. Alright. So we had that. Skills. A lot of talk on skills today. Thing went absolutely bonkers. So skills double bottomed here. Basically it hit this bottom, and then you just saw major volume come in. It went all the way up from 12. Now it's all the way up to 21. So you have a wave 1, and now we're making a wave 3. I'm drinking a Spindrift sparkling lemon lime water. No alcohol for me tonight. So if we're gonna calculate if this wave's done, we'll bottom the top here. This could see 24 before it moves down. Now this move could take us all the way back to 28. That would fill a lot of gaps too. I would put 30, between 30 and that's our target. That's our target there. Long before earnings. That'll be interesting. Yeah, Randy's my brother. Yeah, Google, they tax me pretty hard. So, skills looks good. I like this. This could continue tomorrow. How's it doing after hours? Looks like it's up 50 cents after hours. Nice. Dan's like, no more. Alright, let's look at Verizon. Interesting. So this was the dividend. We had earnings. Sold off on earnings. It looks like earnings are pretty good. So if this double bottoms and holds the 56.77 tomorrow, I'd like to see that. So it looks like it double candled it here. This gets back over 57. We could see a nice runner. And Verizon contracts are so stupid cheap. You could make 1,000% if this thing moves. You know, that's the thing with like the cheap contracts, and I'll show you another one here. That the reason why I went into this one today. So EPD was I took a big lotto on. Let's look at this on the 1 hour. So if this thing does its thing into earnings, we could see a major breakout into earnings, and this could run all the way up to 25, 25.70 if it fills the gap. And so if it goes all the way to 25 by the end of the week, that's a 2-cent contract that's going to be $1. That's a 5,000% return. So that's why I took the lotto. It's $100 for me that could turn into 5,000. I figured it was worth the risk. Yeah, I think the level 4 skills put, it was a little confusing. I have to look at when it came out, but it might have paid, like, if you held it for like 50, it might have been a scalp put, you know. I'm really liking this chart, and I really think this could do something. So I believe there's a couple of companies like it this week. They report earnings, so if they report good earnings, then EPD should benefit from that as well. Yeah, cash, that sucks. It happens to all of us. Alright, let's look at a square. Random arrow there. Square filled this little gap here. You know, next target for square is 266 if it can keep going. Oh, I'm sorry, 261. but it looks good. This run today broke my bearish pattern, so I'm good with the square calls now. On EPD, I had 24 weeklies, so it needs to get up here. So it needs to break recent highs. So it needs to break out of this rising wedge, basically. But if it gets to 2367, 2370, those should at least double. Get to about 10 cents, so 500% return. I'll take that. What's up, Callie? Told you all. Who's in Amazon, by the way? Holy mother of Jeebus. That is a candle right there. So we've been on Amazon for a few weeks now. We've been seeing the call flow come in. You know, we had this this channel breakout here that we've been watching, and so we were aware of this, and a lot of us got in beforehand. Callie made a couple stacks on this today, so yeah, we're looking forward to this breakout over 3430. This flag breakout, and this thing could really go. Like, this thing could retest all-time highs, I think. So, you know, you had a big run, consolidation, and now we should see another big run. This thing could go as high as, I mean, I'm talking, this could run to 3600, 3700 before earnings if it really wanted. I think the 35 is more likely in earnings, and then after earnings we could possibly hit 3700. Yeah, that's what we like to call in the business a Hulk dick. Big ol' Hulk dick with volume to support it too. They had the news of a stock split, which is extremely bullish if it does come out. So AMC plug. Wow. I saw a lot of call flow in UNP. Like, Union Pacific, like, of all companies, went nuts this year. I was like, yeah, they're transportation railroad. Looks like they had earnings, dropped on earnings, and came right back, so. Look to see if this can get, you know, bounce at 223 is where you want to bounce at. And then a break above 227, this thing could go nice. I'm seeing a lot of energy stocks pop up on the screener. EPD is one of them, so if energy moves this week, we're going to be good. Well, I was sort of right. You know, we alerted this at 322, got up to 340. That's a nice move, and then it came right back down. But instead of going back up, it came down again. So this is more like this now. So we'll just adjust that. What the? I don't know what this is. Range Resources Corp. Oh, oil and gas. Alright. Interesting. Heard Rocket was getting some love today. Rocket does look interesting. Does have this gap down to here. It doesn't have to necessarily fill it because it filled it to this candle, but I'm not going to go in on that yet. Plug I really like. Had this chart for about a week now. It's been following it pretty good ahead of schedule, so we'll keep that there. PFPT, I don't know why it went from 130 all the way up to 172. PFE has been running really hard lately. I'll be honest, I don't know why Alta is a popular ticker, but it is, so I pay attention to it. Pfizer looks pretty good. You know, it's got this pullback here and it's consolidating. So it looks like it's going to retest the breakout line. So, you know, it should basically do a two-step down and then up. So it should do this. Yeah, that's what I expect Pfizer to do. Good one to put on your board. Anyone make money on Microvision today? Holy cow, this thing went nuts. This was the play of the day if you got in it. What's up, Fire Cycle? Yeah, if you got in Microvision, you did pretty good for yourself. They got earnings, believe, on Thursday. So they had news come out today as well. And they got earnings Thursday. I was saying this is my target on this is going to be 33 at the 618 extension off the old move. So, I mean, this thing could continue to move. I'm pretty sure it's up after hours too. Yep, it's at $30 after hours. So, redonkulous. You know, you see this sometimes. Krishna, what's your fascination with Myrna? You deep in it? Oh, look, it's charted. It's going to 189. Congratulations. Yeah. OCGN. OCGN. Isn't this a Kathy Woodstock? Looks like a nice flag. It's got gap down to 10. Probably will fill that gap. Other than that, I don't know much about it. Yeah, they must have had news, Altria or something. Yeah, I could see this coming back down to 45. Maybe, you know, retesting this downtrend 44. F-cell we did, I believe. Maybe we didn't. So F-cell's got this couple of gaps here on its way up. My target zone was about 11.5, so Wal-Mart not looking so hot, but it is holding this old. So this was an old resistance, now it's support. As long as that holds, Wal-Mart could be fine. So theoretically, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It started to fill the gap and then sold off. So for no real reason, I think Wal-Mart's going to be 5. I would like to see a double bottom here, and then Wal-Mart could be a very excellent long. KSU? What the is going on with this? This thing's going nutso. Railroads? What is with railroads lately? Aw, thank you, Cali boy. If they're trending penny stocks, it's okay, but I typically don't spend too much time on them. I mean, is this stair stepping up? That's a lot of. Those are huge gaps. Huge. I mean, that's a 200. That's a 100-point swing. Jeez. I mean, it's got a scout wick after hour to 316. That means someone owns it at 316. Is this all-time highs? It's so hard to chart stocks that do this, where they just gap up every day. I would say 316 would be your next bet if you're bullish on this. Netflix. So Netflix is in this zone right here. I can actually probably lower this down. Until Netflix goes below 500 or above 516, I'm not touching it. You need to let the dust settle after an earnings like this, where they miss their projections, because in theory they didn't have good guidance, and so Netflix is extremely overrated. They're probably justly valued where they're at right now, just based on how much money they could bring in if they wanted. So I would, like I said, if it gets over 516, let's play this gap fill. I'll join you on that gap fill because that's nice. Below 500, this thing could retest 450. So let's just pay attention to that. So Penn, I think Penn's been selling off. Yeah, so really looking like it's not going to make a decision until earnings. So Penn could still be a wonderful short. It keeps bear flagging. Let me show you what this looks like. So this has the Oracle look to it, where it just went up and now it's starting to go back down. So Oracle looks interesting. We might be able to short Oracle again this week. It did bounce on the correction zone, so I do like to see this here, but still bear flagging again. You guys want to look at weed. So weed, I was looking at this. This is what made me want to go in. And I don't actually like ACB as a company, but of all the options I looked at, ACB had the healthiest price to reward, if I want to call it. So ACB's option prices were super cheap, and they had heavy volume. And so I like AFA and Tilray and CGC better, but in terms of a cheap, low risk, high reward type of play, that's why I went with ACB. I liked this falling wedge breakout and retest here, and then I saw it's got some gaps here that it's going to start filling. So it's got a gap up to here. So I want to see this hit $9. $9 is my target on this week. I don't think that's crazy. AFA looks really good, growing. We talked about a little bit earlier. AFA's got this gap all the way up minimum to 1560 up to 16. So if we start filling these gaps on weed, I think see a lot of inverse head and shoulders across the board on weed. So yeah, there's a lot of weed stocks out there. So just pick your favorite, risk to reward. So dude, Blackstone has been on a tear this year. Went from, what, 50 all the way up to 87. Killer earnings, power earnings gap, and it's still consolidating. We literally just did Wal-Mart. Did Neo to start. Zoom looks good. Zoom over 338, and Zoom's got room up to 360. So, again, you got an inverse head and shoulders. an inverse head and shoulders, but it needs to get over 338.50. So over this, you can then over 338, short-term target 345, and then over 345, then it can retest the downtrend. So maybe you'll see something like that. So I actually sold CCJ today to get into Amazon, but I do like CCJ. You're seeing this a lot. So you see these downtrend breaks retest with these inverse head and shoulders. Actually, this one hasn't fully broken it yet. But the option flow is heavy there. So this might take into earnings for it to do something. So we'll see what happens. I expect it to fold this flag to 17, and then it'll either come back down to 16 and do this. So it'll probably do something like that, and then it's either going to do a breakdown into earnings like that, or it'll have a breakout and then maybe a retest. We'll see what happens there. Maybe it'll man, the love is high tonight. Appreciate everyone. This has been consolidating for a very long time. The semiconductor space, you got earnings this week. NXPA was tonight and it went up, so obviously it's trading in its lower space right now. It does have a rising wedge look to it into resistance. So resistance, we're going to put 78. So if it can break over 78.25, you're good, but it's possible it may break down back down to 67. So if it can break out, then you could see it run. Otherwise, if it doesn't break out, it's going to go back down to 67. So overall, I like apps in general, but it's been a lot of chop lately, so laser's interesting. So Tesla, they think laser LiDAR isn't needed. They think they can do it all with so he thinks LiDAR isn't the future of autonomous vehicles. He thinks actually video capturing cameras with recognition is the future. So we'll see where this goes. I do think it's on a wave 4 right now. So you've been seeing a lot of volume recently. Volume we haven't seen in a while. So you basically got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're probably going to see maybe another run to 35. It's been on a tear lately. The RSI is probably crazy on this. That's not too bad. In the 15-minute. Let's see what it looks like on the hourly. Yeah, the hourly, it's at 75, so it's a little high. Um, I definitely think it's going to consolidate for a while. I mean, it can come all the way back down to 22, consolidate there. I'd like it to consolidate down to 22, and if it did that, I would be a buyer there if it filled this gap. But we'll see. I actually got into Jamia today. I like Jamia. It it needs to break out above what is this? 33. It's basically there. So, I mean, I like the stock. Jamia's got a lot of room to run if it goes. I think Amazon will pull it up as well. So, it should run with Amazon this week. It won't run as much, but I do like Jamia. Yeah, we covered PayPal. PayPal looks good to 276. Let's see here. Do you want me to go over a few in the green list? So MGNI had a downtrend break here. Although it's now at the last resistance on the downtrend, and this thing could run back up to 62 potentially. Sol looks good. I like solar this week. If you're in the newsletter, you'll know that I'm big on the EV and solar this week. Tech has earnings tomorrow, so we'll see how they react to that. TSM looks like they're making a comeback, and I know they have a lot of call flow. Again, these inverse head and shoulders I'm seeing everywhere. Inverse head and shoulders, like everywhere I'm seeing these. And so I'm going to be pretty bullish this week because of that. And then next week we'll see what happens. But Billy looks interesting. Maxim looks really interesting. I gave you these tickers because they all have something in common. They all look interesting. So inverse head and shoulders everywhere. Lower shoulder on the right indicates that we're going to break out. But they have earnings. They have earnings today? Or is that tomorrow? Wes, earnings in a few weeks. Looks interesting. Another oil and gas line company. Vive, making these flags after flags. RFP. I really like this one. Earnings this week. Paper company. Industrials. Also, if you're in Arrival today, holy shnikey. So I have a whole trade plan on this. I think this thing could go to 24, 25. It's making this nice huge cup. So it broke over my resistance level today. So and it's got three false amigos here. I think this could hit 21 tomorrow. Facebook looks interesting going into earnings. I don't know if it'll do much before then. Hopefully it does, because that would help. Snap. So have this on here. Interesting because it's been holding the line. And it's a heavily shorted stock. We had a nice little short squeeze back here. And we could see, if they have good earnings, this is why I put it on the list, a really nice short squeeze off of earnings. So Vips, we called that out as a play before. Vips is at resistance right now. So Vips over 32.50, and this thing could really go. It hit my target, so good there. Made some good money on it. It's at 32.50 after hours, so next target on it would be 35. Groku's been a popular one. Roku's on a wave, starting a wave 3 right here, so we could see Roku run back up to 400. When Roku runs, it runs, so it can run $30, $40 in a day. So I would expect at least a run to possibly 387. Yeah, I could see LiDAR continuing to run tomorrow. It's possible. Yeah, Vips was part of that Archipelagos scandal, so I hadn't looked at run. Got a double bottom here, Wu-Tang symbol. Is that resistance? Could run to 65 though. UPS got hammered today, didn't they? Yeah. Viacom, how the mighty have fallen. Imagine catching that. That would have been $98 all the way down to $39. That was a... That's how you turn $1,000 into $1 million right there. Yeah, we covered Snap at the beginning of the call. Snap, like I said, we're looking for potential bounce tomorrow to reduce our position. I'd like to see it. It's going to start with a gap. I'd like to see it fill the gap. And then as soon as it fills it, it's going to snap back down. And then from there, maybe we can double bottom and go. But reduce our position, and then, probably by 2/3. So in the long run, Snap will be fine. But we need to get out of our weeklies and maybe rotate those to a few weeks. So maybe May 21st. We'll see. Alright everyone, been going for about an hour now. I am not feeling the greatest tonight, so I'm gonna get some sleep so that I can get better and we can do this more often. So thank you all for joining, and we'll set some alerts on these, so if you're in the Discord you should catch these and we'll have some fun. Charles, I think we talked about it in MVIS and NNDM back in January, I want to say. Back when MVIS was like $6-7. Alright guys, have a great night.